Hey guys, just a quick vid on corroding brake lines, especially if you're near the beach and that. Now this car doesn't live near the beach, but the guy's a surfer, and it's not the best example because I've already covered up the brake lines, so you can't see what I'm doing, what I'm covering, but corroded brake lines can bring cars off the road. Now this Suzuki Swift, it's not the best example because this is where you don't see the quality in these cars, right? Like from that point there, as you can see, through here, these lines are coated with they're completely sheathed, right? Now, those lines are completely sheathed, but in many cars they're not, and especially Toyota. And in some cars like Honda and Subaru, they're in the vehicle. Now, the problem is with some cars, and luckily here it's sheathed from there, because here it's going above a fuel tank and you can't inspect it, right? Now, you get a car, it doesn't have to be more than 5 years or less even, and you see this, like not mud, but you see a bit of surface rust around the top of the bonnet, like when you open the engine bay, around clamps, right? And this indicates the car's exposed to either humidity, moisture, salt, or all of them. Now, when doing it, don't forget to do your front brake lines. And another point is power steering. Now, this vehicle's fitted with electric steering, but I've had power steering racks where they have the lines on top, the hydraulic, explode, and even seen fires. So what happens is, certain cars will get salt in certain places. You might not have any on the front, but it'll only be the back of the car that will be exposed to the breeze or the moisture or whatever. It's very common in garages, even if the car's not driven for weeks on end, that at quite some case from the beach, if it's low down and the breeze is always pushing the air in the garage, the back of the car or whichever way it's facing will rust. So don't forget to do your power steering lines. Not only is it a hazard, but you can't buy those lines with the special bends in them individually. You have to replace the entire steering rack. And this is something that, you know, it's very, very difficult when you just, if you're not going to look, here they're very exposed. Some cars with IRS, you don't see it. And when you do look, you'll notice pitting, like little white spots. And then in other cars, you've got outright rust. But when you have those white spots and they've gone in the metal, you don't know how deep that that perforation or whatever the hole is going to be. So also, you know, no one can calculate the braking pressure. So in one case of a friend of mine, there was an emergency stop and the brake line just exploded. Now, I'd refused that car rego and it was on its last few days. And he just fucking loves me for that. I said, don't even drive it. But you know, we were waiting for that day. It never happened. But yes, I've seen brake failure, especially, and that would be really bad. That's worse than a fire. So, you know, anyway, hope that helps. So, and what do I coat it with? There are better products, but that does it. Okay, spray on sound deadener. Make sure you coat the lines. Make sure you coat from both sides. So doing this, it's not enough. You gotta go from behind, okay? And do it a few times. Doesn't look nice, but it's good.